Well, welcome to another News Game Plus. I'm Dermie and I'm here with Japan's economic saviour, New Game Plus executive producer Jason O'Callaghan. Well, you're going next week, aren't you?
Yeah, 109 yen to the dollar at the moment, the Aussie dollar. It's pretty good.
I'm actually going to watch the exchange rate, see that if the amount you spend while you're over there for the next 2 weeks can actually shift it.
Yeah. Just sink an economy.
Mostly in sours.
Tarikazoku and it's I'm looking forward to Bid Summit next week. So Bid Summit is the Kyoto Indie Festival curated by our friend of the show John Davis. So it should be good.
So that's a Indie Games Award show, is it?
It is. It's an indie game festival. We have been working on the back end, so you've given that one up a little bit. But we've been doing.
Oh, okay. Whoops.
We've been having a look at some of the games that have come through for some of the judging and helping there. It's been interesting. You'll get to the results of that soon.
Cool. Is there anything else?
No, it's best if you don't. It's always interesting to me how. Yeah, I don't know. Like I still feel like. The one thing the Japanese side still embraces is those absurd games. Like, there's been some great purveyors of that in Melbourne where it's like people like Chad Toprak and stuff like that who did games that weren't commercial products. They weren't what you would even consider traditionally games. But there's always, lots of fun with these community-based ones that rely on, certain ways of controlling them. And there's, they're fun little experiments and stuff like that. So I feel like, Japan's always embraced that kind of absurd nonsense, and we have an element of that undercurrent of that, especially in Melbourne. But there are some proper commercial products that are going to be there, but then there are just definitely a lot of, this is a silly little thing that someone will buy on Steam for $6 at a pop, and it gives someone a creative outlet, and that's kind of what it should be about. I mean, you look at the success of all the simulator games, right? Power Wash Simulator,
your favourite,
made millions. They bought the studio based on it.
They make a lot of money. Cool.
Yeah, and then they have Gas Station Simulator. They have Slav Junkie Simulator.
I used to play that. I used to get cash in hand.
yeah, working at BP. Yeah, and then they've got Slav Junkie Simulator. They've got
Slav Junkie
Cop Patrol Beat Simulator. They've got Border Patrol Simulator. There's been a bunch of them, and it's just these silly, whether they're making points, political points or whatever, but they're just these silly little premises that people have extended to absurdity. And good luck to them. I don't know. I still enjoy playing random indie games as much as anything else. And,
that's pretty awesome because every largest studio at some point is just abandoning everything that they don't think will make them. That won't turn into the next massive live service offering.
Yeah. Shout out to Helldivers. Yeah.
Meanwhile, you got people making a game where you wash things and making good money. Oh, that makes me very happy.
Well, think of it. It has a sense. It's a perfect game concept. Here is a task. Accomplish a task. We've added a couple of tweaks and challenges if you choose to do it that way. But at the end of it, you just inherently see the benefits of the work that you've done. Like, as you do it, you're like, I've done all the aluminium siding. Who owns a house nowadays? All these people living in apartments and stuff. When do you get the chance to pressure wash your house? You know what I mean?
So you as a
and they're just transferring a lot of that energy,
as a never house owning millennial, the thing you're dreaming of is washing your house.
Yeah.
I can't wait to vacuum.
Yeah. Well, you saw the lawns out the front of here the other week, so don't say anything.
That's it. Well, look, I think it's fantastic that people can still do quirky things and still make good money, and good on them. It's because the upper end of the industry, and I actually had an item on here about Embracer doing Embracer things again. They're just terrified of anything that doesn't make billions of dollars.
And it's one of those. I always find it hilarious that they're so desperate to bottle lightning, and you just can't pick it. So have you? I mean, I don't know if you've been paying attention to my Facebook. Have you heard of Balatro?
I saw you talking about it.
So Balatro is a poker hand roguelike. So you make various poker hands, you unlock all these jokers, and each joker adds a modifier to the hand, and then that gives you a certain amount of points that you win per hand that you win. So let's say you've got a joker that adds 12 times multiplier to whatever score you get from a straight, and then you've got another one that it'll add a certain amount of points onto that. So let's say you put a straight in, and you get, say, 50 points times 4 for the straight that you get. So then each card is scored individually, so you get a score for each card.
Okay.
Then the straight itself, so then you get the 100 points put on top of that. So let's say you have 150 points by 6. Then the multiplier goes up by the 12, so now it's 140 points by 18. You know what I mean? And it's about breaking. It's just basically breaking numbers generated. But because it's using poker as its base, most people know poker, or at least can learn the rules.
Perfect for a Rain Man like yourself.
Right. Because I hate deck builders. I say this to everyone, like, the easiest way to get me to, like, not roguelike deck builder, like, I snore, like, they suck. Like, there's been, like, 2 that I've enjoyed, right? And this is one of them. And Balatro, like, oh, man, like, it's, if I'm not diving, I'm Balatroing. Like, I've been Googling for Japan trip. You'll appreciate this. Can you play PS5 without the fins? Because if I can take those fins off, I can fit my PS5 into my bag easily. But if I have to leave the fins on, suddenly it becomes a lot more difficult.
I still reckon that's the most ridiculous design of a console ever.
I wish I could take my Xbox, but EDF's not going to come out in Xbox. So it's like, my Xbox is easy. It's literally just a monolith. You put it in the corner of your bag, wrap it in a jumper, and you're done.
Yeah.
Anyway, moral story is Balatro is good. Don't play Balatro though.
Balatro.
If you have any kind of dopamine regulation issue when it comes to gambling, don't play Balatro.
Yeah, I used to gamble when I first moved up to Melbourne to work. A friend of mine that I knew at uni, I was good friends with. We moved in together. We used to hang out at. I remember that place in the city before the casino was around. Can't remember what it's called. We used to go in there and gamble like all night, just on everything, get greyhounds, horse races. Yeah. And he said we didn't even know what we were doing. Even those stupid little games you press and the guy's kicking the footy for a goal, and it was all rigged. And we used to just do that. And I got quite into that for a little while, but then thankfully I'm not an addict. But we did do that as our entertainment. And we used to also hire a bus and take a bunch of friends to Adelaide Casino before Melbourne Casino and go there and just play blackjack forever.
Semi-related to that, just remember, kids, every ticket machine that you play and every skill tester that you play, like the claw machine that you play, is absolutely rigged. It is 100%.
All gambling is rigged to a degree,
yes.
even to the point where if you go to a casino and you're betting, the number of decks in a shoe, for example, is actually done statistically to give the house a better chance of winning. The amount of effort they go to just fix the numbers to their benefit is ridiculous. But
the amount. I mean, you see all the horror stories like the people counting cards and stuff. The guy will come over and goes, "You count." Like, you can't play anymore. Like, you're out. It's like, well, are you going to cash me out the money I've won? No, you're out. It's like
I had something like that happen once.
Yeah.
It was back at uni, and a bunch of us we hired a bus and a minibus, and some of us drove up to over to Adelaide Casino, right? So we got a hotel there and stayed, and we just
go to like Echuca, because Echuca was always the thing
for pulling the poker things. No, we like going on the table. So anyway, there was one game where you spin a little cage around. It's got dice in it, and you win. You can win on basically what the dice come over. Like playing Yahtzee kind of.
Yeah, I was just saying, he's playing Yahtzee. Is that
Anyway, so I was there when all the people there, and I was just betting because I was just filling in time while the other guys are gambling, and I would just go. I'd wait until it was like 3 odds in a row, and then I'd bet on even, right? And then if it didn't even come up, I just double the bet. So I was just piss fun around in small amounts. And I was doing that for the whole day, not making a heap of money, but just amusing myself. And then over time, all the people went away, right? And so at one point, I'm there by myself. And so I'm still doing my little method I've been doing all day. So the lady at the table, she spins it, and I didn't place a bet. And then she goes, "Do you want to place a bet?" I said, "No." And then she goes, "Okay." And I said, "But spin it anyway." So she spun it anyway, like what's going on? And it came up, and I said, "No, that's right." And then I said, "I'll place a bet now," and I put money down. And I said, "Spin it again." And she spun it, and the moment that happened, I won. This guy in a suit came over and said, "Table closed."
Pit boss. Pit boss.
So I actually closed the table at Adelaide Casino one night. He's like, you can go.
So, I mean, I've always been too poor to gamble, and so I remember, I reckon I'm one of the very few people who was legitimately money positive from Crown. And when I say that, I'm talking a couple $100, right? But we used to go there when...
I used to think if you won $100, it was a heap when I was a uni.
I remember we used to go there when one of our other friends, he'd be betting on the big boy tables. I just go to like the $1 a shot blackjack table. Not blackjack, a roulette table. And I'd sit at the roulette table and I'd just go, cool. I had a system and I'd follow it. And if I won one of my bets, if I won one of my numbers, it's like 37 to 1 or whatever it is. So I would have $37 extra. And then my bets were always about $8. They would cost me $8 every time, right? So
this is where having a system, if you're betting on small amounts, you have a system, it can work out okay because you don't lose much. If you're betting $100,000 and you got a system,
correct.
You're fucked.
That's what you're fucked. Correct, right? And so it's like, but to make real money, you have to bet big. That's legitimately true of life. It's game theory, right?
You'll lose a lot, you can win a lot, but chances more chance you'll lose a lot.
Yeah. And so so what I would do, I'd get to my $150 back, put that in my back pocket, cash it out with chips. And then I'd have a couple of $100 left on the table. I just play it out, and if I kept winning, I just keep going. And like I'd always end up with more money than I started. And then blackjack, you just wait for the drunk people to show up, and then you start playing against them. You know what I mean? Like
you know how you can bet on other people's hands.
Yeah.
I almost started a brawl in the casino one night when I was in Adelaide Casino because being a slightly autistic, being a programmer, I wanted my chip piles to be even.
Yeah.
And I had a leftover chip, and it was really annoying me. So I actually threw that. I drew on like 17 or something. Yeah. And these people had bet. I wasn't paying attention. They'd bet behind me, and we were lucky to get out. They were not happy. Because I've gone, hit. And the dealers looked at me going, "Are you sure about that?" And I go, "Yeah, hit." And I busted, right? And then I'm going, "Oh, I've evened up my piles of coins." And the people behind me have just hit the roof. I go, "Oh shit!"
Yeah. So the I guess the moral story is Balatro is good. If you have a problem with dopamine regulations, don't play Balatro. But also, don't go to casinos because they're rip-offs. But
you'll never win long term. It's purely statistics. But if you're doing it for fun and you're not betting much, it can be fun. But
I know people who are going to go blow that money anyway. So there's people I know who will spend. We're going to go to Melbourne anyway. We're going to spend $5,000 on apartments and dinners and all that kind of stuff. So they just go gamble instead, that money, and like they'll get put up in the high roller suites and all that kind of stuff, and the free rooms, they get comped rooms, they get comped everything because it's all considered cost and
because the casino will always make more back.
And the money they earn is tax free. Like they earn money on the tables, it's tax free. So it's for them, it's in their interest still because they can prop the business up by running these anyway.
Yeah, we must say to anyone listening, you will eventually always lose. It's a numbers game. It's all they've got people who are really really good at maths and also good at psychology to work on these games out. And like I said, even down to how many decks of cards are in a shoe for blackjack, just to make sure the statistics are tipped in the house's favour.
And it's enough to not make you exasperated that you can't win, but also enough that you probably can't win. You know,
so get a casino thing on your computer and just play it there.
For sure, absolutely gamble responsibly. There's no such thing. It's all fucked. Don't gamble.
I don't know. Gamble money that you didn't want. Yeah, just as simple as that. Anyway, we were going to talk games.
We were. Well,
it's kind of a
gaming. Gaming. They don't like calling it gambling. They call it gaming.
12, almost 13 minutes.
Look, it's fine. It's fine.
So anyway, do you want to do? Let's go to the first gaming story because it was the big news this week, and you can read my paper and see what it is.
No. Save it because we're going to rant on that.
Save. Okay. I'm going to. Okay, there you go. Coming up after the break.
It's coming.
Coming up after the break is the big news of the week. Okay, I'm going to go straight into.
He actually does have it written down on a piece of paper, by the way. That's not.
I do have a bit of paper. Well, otherwise I forget because I'm old and I forget things. I'll lead into it. Firstly, you can't get your Wii U repaired anymore because Nintendo said they've got no more parts. So if your Wii U breaks,
you have to find donors.
Off to eBay to find an old not working one and pull it apart. But yeah, so Nintendo cannot repair a Wii U now because they do not have parts. Didn't you see that?
That's interesting. That's a unique one. Yeah.
I like the Wii U. I miss the Wii U. I don't know why it's hated.
I miss a Nintendo where, like, I like what the Switch is, and I like what the Switch represents from a handheld to TV point of view. I like the Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
I like so much of what it does, but what I don't like is you're not going to have an asymmetrical experience like you did on the Wii U. Like Nintendo Land and all those games where like one person is on the pad and they're doing something specific. You can't do those unique things.
The game where you chase Mario around, one's Mario on the pad.
The Ghost,
the Ghost game, that's fantastic. I'm actually surprised they haven't had some online version of them because it would work. But,
that kind of energy got converted into Amogus. You know what I mean? Like into those kind of games, social deduction games, and I feel like we just miss that element. We just don't play together anymore. And then similar with the 3DS, there's so many games that are going to be marooned on the 3DS because you can't.
Nintendogs. For a start,
But, and that
what the hell's
doesn't have to
Nintendo?
be. Yeah.
Why is Nintendogs not on? Anyway, actually Nintendo and generally we used to have more creativity with the games, but creativity's gone away as far as hardware goes.
Yeah.
And not to dismiss completely the Switch, but the Switch is a phone or a tablet with controllers on the side. And yes, that was
literally
clever.
just a Tegra tablet,
Kind of what everybody wanted in a way at the time, and it just and the docking thing's okay, but the PSP Go could do that. I had a PSP Go dock as well, even though it made a smaller screen. But yeah, the Wii U, it was really nice on games where you had a map. I did like having the map on the little screen. I liked having inventory management on the little screen. The Deus Ex Director's Cut, I think, that came out in Wii U is probably easily the best version because you could move your inventory around on the gamepad thing on the Wii U. Without loading on the screen.
It's like even with like the Star Fox game, then they made you use the Star Fox to bomb, and you had to turn those things on. This sucks because what you could have done instead was had that let's say you have like a Starship game, you could have that as like a control screen. You know what I mean? So it's like you're playing it, and it's like you get shot at from behind, and you need to shut off an engine, but so it doesn't burn out and stuff like that. You could have those switches there. You know what I mean? And then like refire.
It was a little control panel sort of thing, like a Stream Deck sort of thing where you can just press things. Look, the creativity, like the 3DS had. No, I mean you had the double screen on the DS. The 3DS had the 3D, which has gone away. We probably won't see 3D.
My eyes could never do the 3D properly anyway. So
but there's an idea. It was great.
For sure,
and then the Wii U had the extra screen, but now we're back to like Microsoft and Sony are never going to try anything different. That's just not their DNA.
No. They made the Sony portable thing, which was like this weird, just streams off your PlayStation things. You do it to your phone. You know what I mean?
It was kind of cute, but it wasn't what people wanted.
No.
Let's put that. But and Nintendo, and they'd be unwise to even try and deviate from it. But the Switch 2 is going to be basically like the Switch 1, which is a smart move. But the creativity and the hardware side of things has gone away. We went through a good, so even with peripherals, like with things like Rock Band and that, even to the point where Rock Band at one point had a keyboard controller so that creativity in the hardware side is dead.
I feel like it started to die once Sega was out, because Sega was always the one trying stuff new with the VMUs and stuff like that. They were always
the VMUs on the Dreamcast. I mean, as you know, I still play my Dreamcast. I actually upgraded my Dreamcast the other day to have USB power.
Nice.
Instead of the old power thing inside. It doesn't run very hot anymore.
Did you do that yourself, or did you get that done somewhere?
No, I ordered off a mob called Retro 6, I think it was.
The Pommy bloke.
Yeah, and so he makes USB-C power conversions. Then basically I did the hard bit of unscrewing,
soldering it.
No, I didn't even need to solder.
Really?
Because I can't solder. I tried to make a cartridge reader from Evercade, and I tried to solder, and I spent weeks trying to do it. And I'm the shittest computer nerd ever because I can't solder. I have to hand back in my computer nerd card.
Because it's one of those things, right? So I have a Rock Band adapter, speaking of, that I need to get fixed. The USB port on is fucked, and I've been getting a lot of Retro 6's TikTok Reels, Facebook Reels. Bloke seems nice. He knows what he's talking about.
He does.
And I'm genuinely tempted to send it to England to make sure it gets done properly.
You'd be able to fix it.
Yeah, I have no issues with that. I've seen some of the random shit they send him.
So some of these people, some of these electrical engineering types, they have mad skills.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're the ones we're going to have to protect when the bombs drop. You know what I mean?
That's the Chinese version of three body problem where they were strong in the message there that you have to protect the scientists and the smart people, otherwise society can't rebuild. Yeah, they said that's the job of the military. And that was the Chinese version. The American version, they don't care so much.
Yeah.
They're a bit different. Smart person. Guns. Anyway, let's see. What else we got? Xbox Game Pass is having a price increase. Are we getting that in Australia? Or is that?
So it's also a shift in the way it works as well. So you got two tiers of Game Pass on PC. So you've got the one tier that doesn't have day one releases and blah, 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 blah. And it's slightly cheaper. Otherwise, I can't remember exactly what the...
Do we care about day one releases, really? Like, the last one would have been that pirate game thing before the quadruple A pirate game.
The last one was Hi-Fi Rush. Was probably the last... And then that didn't do any numbers.
RIP, that studio.
Yeah. RIP Tango.
Starfield. Yeah, okay,
Starfield, yes.
Yeah, okay.
And then
Geez, that went
Diablo.
out.
Diablo
Disappeared out of consciousness, didn't it? Very quickly.
There's still groups. Like, I still get a lot of Facebook groups and stuff for it, but I'm like, Starfield was fine. It was fine.
No hype or anything.
Yeah, no, it was fine.
But this is, I mean, the day one releases would matter. As we were talking last podcast about, having the you called them tentpole releases or whatever. Yeah, a Halo and a Gears and a Call of Duty, and what else?
Assassin's Creed we were talking about.
Well, yeah, what's in a Fable in Microsoft's thing? Yeah, having these regular things, and day one release would matter.
By 2025 it'll matter, but I don't think for this year it matters. And you can still, I've been told you can still do the gold trick. Gold, if you buy a gold sub, it'll still convert to 8 months of Game Pass Ultimate, which means that you can still do that trick. And I would suggest if you can still do it, and if you manage to figure it out, then do it. But
and if you want to know how to, go to the New Game Plus Facebook page and ask Jason, because I did it the wrong way, and I ended up paying for the full amount.
Yeah, I got 3 months, 3 years of Game Pass.
Yeah,
for like $50 or something like that. It was good.
Yeah, I remember that, and I tried to do it, and I just did it wrong. And so go to the Facebook group, New Game Plus TV, ask Jason, say, how the hell do I do this? I want to be smart like Jason, not dumb like Jared.
Good advice.
Good advice. Don't touch Willie. So what we got here? Okay, we did you mentioned Hi-Fi Rush, so I'll use that as a segue into Embracer doing Embracer things. They tried to sell, I didn't know who the dev was, a dev called Piranha Bytes. Couldn't sell them, so they shut them down. That's like stuff you market.
Yeah.
Now embrace it. Now the rumor is that they're currently trying to sell Gearbox.
And Gearbox, I think, didn't Take-Two make an offer on that, or am I imagining things?
I don't know, but it'd be wild if they shut Gearbox down.
Strauss, yeah. Randy could go into business for his own on that. Like I feel like if Randy turned around and said, hey, so, like, I'm pretty sure Strauss was like, we'd buy Gearbox back if we had the chance. And I think, I don't like Borderlands, but it obviously does enough business for him to stay open. So,
I don't know why it was popular. It's weird. I tried to play it, and I tried to like it.
Yeah.
I tried to play it with my son as well. We just tried to do two-player. It was all right, but it wasn't.
No.
It just wasn't up to, the big boy Halo. We played a lot of Halo, and when we tried, maybe it's moving the style doesn't work, but for whatever reason, Borderlands just didn't. Even the comedy didn't grab me. But I know a lot of people love it. There's a Netflix, I think it is, series coming out. I've heard some early reports that aren't great. So, mind you, it's got people like Jamie Lee Curtis in it and stuff like that.
Kate Blanchett.
Yeah,
Kate Blanchett's like one of the main characters.
I suppose I get Jamie Lee Curtis. She's involved with Jace Hall. That's the mob arguing with Billy Mitchell. What are they called? Twin Galaxies.
Billy Mitchell's a scumbag, so.
Yeah, but she's
allegedly, he's a sewer.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, we that's probably be careful with. But Kate Blanchett just seems out of place in a video game adaptation. But I'll give it a watch and see what it's like. Borderlands.
Fallout worked, but I think because the right people were doing that. So yeah.
Yeah, the cowboy guy nailed it. Yeah. He nailed his role, and I thought what was her name? Lucy just nailed her role as well. The fish out of water.
She's in Yellow Jacket. She's good in that. She's good in everything she's in, to be honest. So, yeah.
I didn't know if she's anything. I know she was Jinx in
League of Legends Arcane.
And Arcane is a superb show, and Jinx is a great character in there. You actually feel bad for her. You haven't watched it yet, have you?
No, I won't watch League.
Let's see, I didn't want to watch it because I had no interest in League of Legends. So I put it off.
I've said their extended universe stuff I like more than League.
Well, Arcane I'd say is up there with Cyberpunk Edge Runners for just for a bit of a real kick to watch it. It's Edge Runners, I'd say you've never had your feelings hurt until you watch Cyberpunk Edge Runners. Simple as that. But Arcane's close to that.
Yeah.
It's just, and the ending's pretty brutal. The way they set up season 2, although I don't know if season 2 needs to exist at this point.
Well, it's coming. But they already released a trailer. So
yeah, but it's a bit like as a self-contained package, Arcane was spectacular, and Jinx, like, just he probably get from the name, like just trying to do the right thing and just backfiring so spectacular. And it was one point you just really feel bad for her. But anyway, she's a good actress. She did a great job in she's a good voice actress in that. Did a great job in Fallout. She just nailed
Yeah.
that fish out of water, sort of like very religiously sort of.
Well, it was the
role.
right kind of empowering, where it was like you are a fish out of water, but you've been given the skills and the necessary things to do what you need to do, and then she adapts and she becomes who she is, but she still kind of stays true to herself. And so it's like I think it's it was really good.
Oh, go show if you want. Yeah, you can write a female character and then just absolutely nail it, and they nailed it in that one.
Yeah. Well, plus
just
I mean,
worked.
when the supporting cast is Walton Goggins and Cole McLaughlin, like you're in pretty good company. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you got other people who can carry their part of the weight. So yeah.
I remember
Anyway,
Colin McLaughlin years ago.
Cole McLaughlin's great.
Yeah.
Damn fine cup of coffee.
Where was it? We're going to Gearbox Sundown. Okay, I've got a really long one. We're still going to avoid the main one here, aren't we? We can do a whole.
We'll do
podcast
one
on
more
that.
and then we'll
See, I don't know
move
what
to
you
the
can
main
say about this one. I've got. See, so I don't know. See, I can say a lot, but I don't know what you can
one. I don't
say.
give a shit. What do I care? Well, burn bridges with people I hate.
Yeah, well, look, because we both probably, we might even, I mean, we probably know a lot of stuff here that people generally don't know. So, I mean, I do from what happened around 2014 here.
Yeah,
a few things I'm aware of. But anyway, look, I'll go to the other one. So I was going to, we're 25 minutes
We've
now.
still got a
Cool.
while. We've got 20 minutes.
Everyone's fast forward the first 13 minutes about gambling, but now, have you seen about the massive disaster of some recent AAA games released on mobile?
No, this
Okay.
is interesting.
I'm going to give you some numbers, so this might be a little bit boring.
That's
so
okay. Make
okay.
them interesting.
So there's been 4 big recent AAA games released on that Apple showcased and really pushed as coming to the phone. iPhone 15 Pro and Pro
Yeah,
Max
yeah.
9. Resident Evil Village, Resident Evil 4. They're not the same game? Anyway.
Yeah. No, different games.
Death Stranding, and Assassin's Creed Mirage. So anyway, so there's Apple like tracking systems that'll kind of give you an idea how many sales there are and stuff based on how it appears in all their rankings. So this is the state of AAA games on mobile. Apparently, for Assassin's Creed Mirage, less than 3,000 people paid the $49.99.
Is that USD?
I think it's US.
Yeah.
Since it launched on June 6th. So
But
less
that
than
makes sense. Like, I can see why no one would pay full price for an Assassin's Creed game on. I mean, this goes this goes back to our conversation about suitability of platform. You know what I mean?
Yep, 123,000 people downloaded it.
Yeah.
So their return on that, I mean, that's like their whale numbers where you'd hope those 3,000 were whales, right?
Yeah.
So 43,000 on day one was released, downloaded it, and less than 2,000 14 days later. It based on the number of people who did and everything, it's estimated to have made $138,000 US in revenue. Take off Apple's 30%.
So one mid-level producer's salary for the year.
Real absolute. That is a disaster result. Now, when you've got the game studio shutting, like what was that? Take that Rush game. What was it called again?
Hi-Fi Rush.
Hi-Fi Rush. I was thinking
Softworks.
Tokyo Rush. That's different. But yeah, when you think they're shutting them down because they weren't profitable enough, and you've got a mobile game making effectively under 100,000, you take out the 30%. You'll know that number in your head.
I think for those people, like it really. I mean, no, it's very easy to do that number by that number. 49. So 3,000 times about $46 is going to work out to about $138,000.
Yeah, I know. But that's because you're like.
Shut up.
There was a
Anyway.
movie about you years ago with Tom Cruise.
But anyway.
I should introduce. Hi, I'm Tom Cruise, and I'm here with Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah, right. No, I thought Wolfie. No, it's right. We should introduce him. But I feel like it's two-pronged here. I feel like there's no way that Apple didn't help pay for the development, or at least try and pay for it as a showcase. Like they would have said, how much would it cost for you to put it across? They would say, give us $10 million and we'll port it. And I go, yeah, cool, we'll cover the cost of porting it.
They would have been hoping for more
it's just
downloads.
Not, the thing with it is, if I buy it on my iPhone, can I then play it on my MacBook? And if the answer is no, because this is the thing.
I don't think so. I think it's iPhone Pro Max, and iPads.
In the iPad, it's now running an M1 chip. It's running the same chip that's in your MacBooks, right?
Yeah.
Just like the generation behind. So from that point of view, there's no reason that you can't port. If you get it ported to the iPad, then there's no reason you can't port it to the MacBook Pro. The second you start porting it to the MacBook, we're in a conversation, because for the amount of power this thing uses and what it is, its actual efficiency and how much power it gets from that is fantastic. Like,
Oh yeah, no doubt. But these are disaster game
but
numbers.
this is what I'm saying. I'm looking at it from that long view, but I'm like, but I don't know if that's how they're looking at it. Like, who is saying I want to play a full AAA title on my iPhone? Like, who's saying that? Like,
the game industry has no idea what it's doing right now. I've got a comparison, right? Assassin's Creed. I wrote Greed here by accident.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed Rebellion. That's a mobile game.
Yeah.
It's a bit very cutesy. I don't know if it's got microtransactions but
it has it's Ubisoft. It has microtransactions.
Let's compare a comparison here. In the same amount of time that it took Assassin's Creed Mirage to get 123,000 downloads, Assassin's Creed Rebellion got 1.9 million.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, the style of the game is different, and also made $981,000 in revenue in the time it made that. The other one made 138,000.
Yeah.
So now, Assassin's Creed Rebellion was obviously mobile game.
Yeah.
Designed as a mobile game, made for a mobile audience, not a port of a AAA or however many A's they feel like calling them these days. But clearly, it does show that for the platform, the delivery does matter, as you were saying before, and the controls would matter a lot as well.
Well, I would be interested to see my favorite iPhone game. I have two, and one of them was locked behind Apple Arcade. I think I can delete my arcade subscription now, and the other one is one is Pocket Card Jockey, which is a port of a 3DS game, which is based on horse racing and solitaire. And it sounds awful, but it's
back
actually
to gambling again.
Yeah. Well, Solitaire's not really
gonna
gambling.
wonder.
Solitaire's not really gambling. He was gambling your time. But no, like, so that's...
What are you really gambling?
Yeah. So that's one of them. And the other one is Part-Time UFO, which is Hell, who made Kirby. Hell Games. They made a game which is a Part-Time UFO. Literally what it is. You're working part-time jobs as a UFO. You have a little crane that comes out, and it's like a crane game. Anyway... charming little platform. I think it's like $8 on Apple, and I would be interested to see how those sales did in comparison from a numbers point of view to something like an Assassin's Creed, because I feel like the market has pushed the free game experience, and we've pulled back on the whale stuff a bit, but we're also more accepting of some microtransactions where we never used to be. Like, it was seen as the exploitative thing that it is, but now it's like people like, look, I will spend $10 on a game that's a quote unquote free to play game if I get 50 hours of value out of it. It's still an okay trade, but in the old days it was you had to pay a lot of money to get, and they were relying on people getting addicted to it and all that kind of thing.
Well, you talk microtransactions. I got some more numbers here on week after week 2. So over 2 weeks. So again, comparing Rebellion with Mirage. Okay, Rebellion being the mobile dedicated,
and Mirage being the
and Rebellion clearly having, based on what I'm about to say, clearly having microtransactions built in. Okay, so they're trying to make their money later rather than Mirage making it up front. So over 2 weeks, Rebellion's sales dropped by 45%. Mirage's dropped by 69%.
Right.
I think we're legally obliged to say nice.
Yeah.
So now the revenue after 2 weeks on Rebellion went up 82%.
Yeah.
And on Mirage went down 79%.
Yeah.
So the mobile market likes a certain experience, and they like paying their money in a certain way.
Yeah.
Traps.
They like being force fed. Like, I mean, it's like when you talk about these live service games, right? You know, there's an expectation you're going to pay $50 or whatever every year to get the new content, and it's not a bad model. I don't hate it from the point of view of why isn't the game all up front. I don't mind the live service thing, but everything can't be a live service. Sometimes you've just got to tell your story and get out. Like, nobody played Guardians of the Galaxy because the Avengers was a shit live service game, and Guardians of the Galaxy was a fantastic game. So, you know, it may not have an effect directly, but it will have a knock-on effect on the wider industry if you just keep doing these games as service.
Yeah, I think it's they're all you kill the goose to get the eggs.
Yeah. Kill the golden goose.
They're all missing it, and they could make money. I mean, games like Hogwarts Legacy made good money.
Yeah.
Elden Ring made good money. So there's good money to be made.
And then they double dipped it with a proper DLC pack, that was, basically a new game, just using the same engine, the same world.
But
you know what I mean?
they just want to be like a sports game or Fortnite or something where they just make money by accident. And it's kind of silly because there's still lots of money to be made. People are spending.
I'd be interested to see what Fort's numbers are doing nowadays because it's been a while since I paid attention to it. I wonder if it's come up or down, but they're doing a lot of crossover content, so I imagine they're only going
I had
up
a
and up
quick
and up.
look at it a little while ago. I didn't play it, but holy crap, it's a polished product. It's like an operating system now.
Yeah, it is.
It's pretty
it's
nice.
Universe now for sure.
Holy moly! Hey, I'll wrap up the game thing. Resident Evil Village was the other one mentioned. That's a $15.99 US to unlock the full game. It's got a free trial thing. 370,000 downloads, made $92,000. That's really that's
so
just
but
disaster.
Capcom, we know how Capcom do it. Capcom charged Nintendo $6 million for the year's exclusivity for Monster Hunter Rise. So we know that Capcom work in that model. So I wouldn't be surprised if.
So they don't care. They made 92,000. I mean, companies are shutting game studios down everywhere, and they're all and mobile's like they're like big thing they want to move into. But Death Stranding, that's $20 apparently. On some Apple tracking setups, it hasn't even been downloaded enough, they reckon, to be tracked yet. There's some estimates suggest it's around $200,000 in revenue.
So you got to remember
from a $20 game.
With it as well is
10,000 downloads.
Resident Evil Village and Death Stranding are both, and Death Stranding Director's Cut are both free on the Sony Game Pass, or the Sony upgraded version of.
Yeah, Death Stranding is definitely. I think also the audience, the Kojima audience, doesn't exist on phone. If you go to any person,
if you said that Kojima was making a phone game, it would be one of the most unique phone experiences you've ever had. Right? It would be different. It would be something else.
Yeah, actually, you're right. Actually, it would involve using your phone as part of the game, like the old Metal Gear things he used to do.
He made Boktai, which was a vampire fighting game where basically there was a light sensor in the back of the Game Boy Advance cartridge. And if you played in direct sunlight, you needed that to power your gun to kill the vampires. That's the kind of dumb shit I love, man.
Yeah. See, that would work. You could really have some fun with current mobile phone technology.
Yeah, imagine AR shit for that, you know?
Like, but Death Stranding, where you're just walking around with a baby strapped to you, look, they're just not an audience. I don't think, because Kojima has a fan club, and it just doesn't exist on mobile. But the message there should be to developers, look, stop shutting down studios. Because the decisions you're making aren't making you money. I mean, $138,000 for a AAA game on an iPhone. That is disastrous. And again,
if that was released in isolation, let's say
I'd argue even 981. Sorry, I know you're talking. I'd almost argue that 981,000 for the dedicated Assassin's Creed Rebellion is also a disaster.
But it doesn't cost that much to make a mobile game.
No, but still, I mean...
But you are doing that on your own bat. That's the difference. Like, you're doing that off your own bat, you know? So,
I still think... I just think that they're chasing a market like that. I've never believed... So I know you were going to say something. I'll talk to you. But I've never, ever actually believed that the mobile phone gaming market exists.
Yes.
And the reason I say that is it's a little puzzle platform for doing little puzzles. And it's just for doing simple stuff to fill in time. Whereas the experience
in the West, this is the thing you've got to specify in when you're in Philippines or these kind of Southeast Asian countries, it's probably the one digital device that has enough power to do these things. The Asus ROG phones and stuff like that.
Is that because they all can't play the games because they need PSN logins?
Right. But there's definitely, and I mean, Japan, the phone market is huge in the sense.
Well, their portable market's always been huge.
That's what I'm saying. There's a cause and effect relationship there. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Well, at least for I'd say for the American market and in Australia.
Yeah, for the Western market for sure. I think that's true.
Let's go for the white market.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a. I don't think gaming on mobile phones is a real thing. I think it's a pastime, where you compare how people will play a PlayStation 5 game or a PC game or an Xbox game. That's more of a dedication. That's the time they'll put it in. They'll spend their time doing it.
Well, I mean,
modding it.
This is the thing. You've got things like Fortnite on mobile, which there's still enough people playing that. Fortnite on Switch. PUBG was huge because of India and China on mobile, things like that. So there's elements where they think, but I agree with you. I feel like the mobile market is still so elusive, and we've gone through the side when the indie darlings were all starting on mobile, when it was that new
flight control and Angry Birds and all that, and
we've gone through that era. out the other end into just the wasteland. So,
But I think it is. It's a flight control and Angry Birds
Yeah.
and Omnom. What's that called? Cut the rope. That's the market.
Any of the ones that are successful now, I think, rely on gacha. They rely on whaling. They rely on these baseline instincts, and they rely on the Chinese whales paying $300,000 to have the gold armor, things like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. But I just I think that they're trying to make a market exist that doesn't exist because they only see the numbers.
Yeah.
And I think it's a while they think they're all clever, they can't be shutting down studios and then making absolute brain dead decisions like this.
Yeah,
and they're doing
it has to be subsidised. There's just no
yeah, but
other way.
even then, it's not a real market if it's subsidised.
No, for sure.
It's just not a real market.
Because you're trying to build a market doing that, and they're like,
Meanwhile, they're like, we need a game that makes $1 billion a year, and then they go, okay, we made $138,000. Well done, guys. Your business acumen is just off the charts. You are the captains of industry guiding our society.
Our doing our events, we made $138,000. That's a great success for us. If these guys make $138,000,
I think they're anyway. I think even 981,000 for these other Assassin's Creed game. I think that's pretty bad. There's more money to be made if they just let developers make good games. Hey, we're at 40 minutes.
Do we legitimately do another podcast for that one? I think we could do that combined podcast we discussed on the topic.
You want one where we can actually get like in a lot of trouble with a lot of people.
It's fine. I mean, otherwise we'll just run this one 10 minutes late. But yeah, it's fine with me. I don't mind. It's gonna be fun either way.
Well, okay.
Let's just do it now. That's fine. Like, we'll just have to kind of limit ourselves to 15 minutes of gloating.
There's probably 45 minutes that both of us can say.
Yeah, fucking oath.
Okay, well, you know what? Let's do this as a supplemental because you're away for 2 weeks. We'll wrap this one up. We'll do a supplemental. The guys can have a listen to it and see if we can get in a lot of trouble. Hang on, I got a cough.
Like I don't know what trouble I can get into. I'm not saying anything libelous.
Well, I might. No, libelous. Okay, let's do this as a supplemental. All right, I'll leave. We've got another topic coming up. Yeah. Keep your podcast going.
Do we tell them what it is? They're going to guess by now.
It was the big news this week. But now let's... Okay, we're going to talk about somebody who just shut down. That's enough of a clue. We'll do it as a supplemental podcast because we're running at 40 minutes now. I reckon actually at 40 minutes is a good time.
45 I think is perfect.
Yeah, so we'll wrap up. What's coming out? You're off to you said at the start you're off to Japan for a bit summit.
I'm there for 2 weeks. So I'll be there for a little bit, and then I'm back over in Australia. So we'll have the glitch after parties and stuff coming up. We've got Anamaga in August. Then, of course, we have TGS in September. Then, of course, we have PAX in October. It's going to be interesting. I might be in Copenhagen for International. Yeah, so that'll be interesting.
Clogs and everything. And you'll be stoned off your nut.
Clogs? That's the Dutch, not Denmark.
Where's Copenhagen? Oh, really? It's the same place, isn't it?
Jeez. All white people look the same, huh? Is
it really? Edit that bit out so I don't look like an idiot.
Good save. Jesus Christ.
Copenhagen was there.
And then I think that's they're the big gaming events for the year, and then it's gonna be interesting. We're slow. Obviously, as you can tell, we're slow doing the podcast. We're slowly building back into doing more content, so I'm sure you'll see us back in some form. Even Cringy's been editing stuff, which means he's got the editing bug
good.
back.
Cringy's a star. I like Cringy.
So it'll be interesting. To see
we've had some. You have, not we. You've had some star hosts on this show.
Yeah, Alana was doing stuff for us.
Cringy should be more famous than he is. He is so good.
Yeah. I
even Meg was awesome. Remember, Meg used to have to sit between us trying to get a word in. Segments on the show. We used to have to say to her, "Don't take it personal. Like, it's not like you're a girl or anything. It's just we are going to try and talk over each other. If you don't pipe up." And to her credit, she did a good job.
I mean, we've been lucky. We had we had Alana doing stuff. We had Kirsty. We've had a bunch. So
I reckon better host than other shows.
Yeah,
except you know the one I love.
I always your mate Dan, I always say to him, was like, I think sometimes he forgets, and he's we have to get like an MC. I'm like, well, I'm not doing anything. I'll just MC it. He's like, oh yeah, that's right. I was like, I just whatever. It's not going to matter. And then they see me up on stage, and it's like, Oh yeah, that's right, that's it. I'm like, yeah, it's fine. Here's the mic. Thanks. See ya. Walk off. You know what I mean? Like it's done.
Do you get offended? Like when I took my son to see Lewis Spears, and he goes, "Oh, Dad, it was awesome to see so." Finally met someone who's on YouTube.
Yeah,
I'm like, you
well, yeah.
fucking little.
Yeah, rasa frasa.
And then he goes, "Oh, I watch all your stuff on YouTube, Dad,
Lewis
when you
Spears
die."
is going full lefty now. It's interesting. He's definitely become a mercurial. He's going back.
Oh, you
the
watched
other way.
his anti-woke cartoon review? Yeah. You actually watched the Lewis Spears.
No, I'm not watching it. I'm just reading people's reactions to him. Someone brought him up in the Friendly Geordies forum, and I'm like, that's
Yeah, no, he's most of those ones you hate aren't as bad as you think.
Oh, I just don't find it funny. They call themselves comedians. It's like you got to be funny first.
I like you, Lewis. I think you're good.
It is interesting in the Friendly
Jason doesn't like anyone I like.
The Friendly Geordies
Lewis
read
Spears,
it. The Friendly Geordies read it. I see why
Junglers, Moist
Friendly
Critical.
Moist Critical sucks. I don't understand. Neil Kohakta.
Oh, he's good. He's good as
Yeah.
hell. Well, you don't like brown people.
It's all the whiteys that look the same, man. That's all I'm told. But yeah, no, I just don't find him funny. I never have. I don't find a lot of people on YouTube funny is a problem, and the ones I do end up not staying on YouTube or they go get a real job. So
Yeah, it was cool. I went to meet Junglers, and it was good meeting a host of a video game show.
Oh yeah, here he goes.
I was very excited.
Yeah. I'm surprised he turned up.
He's my favourite host.
That,
he's my favourite video game host.
Yeah. All right. With that said, we'll stop recording this. We'll release this and then
supplemental.
We'll do the next one. Life and death in the Australian media, we'll call it, I think, and we'll go from there.
This will be fun.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you guys next time.